How we doing?
Good, yourself?
We're doing good. I think we're not doing as good as you. I think you're doing a little bit better than we are. You're getting ready for a district championship game. Great win on Wednesday in overtime. First, before we talk about this big matchup with Cheyney for the third straight year for you guys, talk about this district semifinal win in overtime. What kind of it came down to? How proud you are of your boys and what you guys did so well to win this game.
Well, I think one of the things we did to win the game was we didn't let adversity affect us too much. We had the lead for a little while. We let 2 threes go in at the end of the fourth quarter. One was a prayer to send the game into overtime. But again, when you put kids through different situations, and we have that with different athletes playing football, soccer, baseball, and they're in those pressure-packed situations, they don't necessarily get flustered too much. And that's a credit to all this Poland sports. But that's just a credit to the boys as well. They regrouped, and we did what we had to do to win the game on Wednesday night.
Talking about this matchup with Cheyney, I mean, there's no question that this has been district title 3 out of the last 4 years too. But you guys also played them in the regular season. You played them tight, played them close, played them tough too. What do you think it would mean not only for this community and this team to get this Cheyney monkey off the back, but what do you think it is that they do so well? And what have you seen growth-wise from your team over the years going against the Cowboys?
Well, the one thing they have is they've got a lot of athleticism. They've got some height. We know Clive in the middle. He's a big presence. He's going to Boston College for football. It's tough to simulate and practice getting a young man of that size and stature. But their athleticism, they go, you go and watch the game last night. They played about 12 or 13 guys deep, and they're going to pressure the basketball. And we've got to be able to handle that from the tip all the way till the end of the game. For us, it's just, we played them this year. And sort of my motto going in has been we want to try and play the best teams in the area. And we knew Cheyney was going to be. And we wanted to see that test sometime within the year. It just so happened this year it was more towards the end of the year. But it gave our guys an idea of where we're at, what we need to improve on, and how good Cheyney is. And like I said, they're a great team. Coach McGaughy does a great job. But again, there's things that I think we can do to try and help ourselves and put us in a pretty good situation to hopefully come out with a win.
Coach, I love that you brought up your kids' ability to bounce back from adversity in a game on Wednesday, because that's kind of been the mantra of your whole season. I know you've been dealing with the injury bug as a team, and you've had to bounce back from kids stepping up into roles they probably didn't think they'd have coming into this season. It's been adversity filled, and you guys have answered it every step of the way. Talk about how proud you are as a coach that no matter what this team comes across, they're able to just put their nose down and grind through the adversity that calls their name.
Well, I think the biggest thing that we have is, and this is from top to bottom, and this is, I think, any sport you're going to find at Poland Seminary, is we've got a lot of competitors. We've got a lot of kids who they're going to go out and they're going to compete. And when those lights are turned on, they're going to give you their best effort. And that's one of the things that from even when I was there with Coach Grisdale, and I knew when Coach Brungard and Coach Hooley and some of those, football guys that have been around, and even the baseball programs and everybody who's been successful, we want to compete, and effort is huge. And sometimes we may not be the most skilled team, but I know from my standpoint, I feel like, we're going to get the kids' best effort every night. And that's all you can ask for. Sometimes the ball bounces your way. Sometimes it doesn't. But these kids come in every day. They work hard. They're very coachable. But the big thing for me is their consistent effort for 32 minutes on the basketball court.
Talk to me a little bit. We talked about the non-conference schedule that you guys have the control over of scheduling, but talk to me about competing in this NE8 and how effective you think this conference play that you guys play with the Struthers, the Jeffersons of the world this year, how much do you think that helped you going into this tournament?
Well, I think it helped us tremendously. One of the things with Jefferson and Struthers particularly is their height and their length. They have the athleticism. They can shoot the balls from the perimeter. But for us, it's just getting out and facing good competition. South Range was good this year. Girard was very competitive games. They ended up beating Struthers once. It's a battle night in and night out. And that's when you're battled like that consistently throughout the year, not only in your non-conference, but in your conference as well, you become more comfortable in tight situations. You become more comfortable just when the game gets close and you need to make those kind of plays to win a game.
When you guys played Cheyney earlier in the post-game press conference with Anthony Romo, The Cheyney players were asked what was so different about this Poland team that they played this year compared to last year, and they all gave you guys credit for being a lot stronger and a lot more physical. Have you seen growth in the strength and the physicality of this team from last year to this year, and what do you attest that to?
I don't necessarily see growth in the strength. I think it's just the competitive drive of our kids. We've got so many kids that play football, and I know when they're in the weight room consistently. And there's times where these guys are in the weight room, and we're not even asking them to get in the weight room, or football's not asking them to get in the weight room. They're doing it on their own, and that's a testament to the work ethic of these guys. But again, it's just the consistency that they bring every day, and trying to understand, how important strength is. Whether it's your core strength, whether it's anything like that, they know that the weight room is important.
Talking about the injuries that you guys suffer this year, it's always important to see who steps up, and that's usually determines how rough that road's going to be through injuries. And you guys are able to compete through that tough NE8, and you're obviously right here back at a district championship. Who are some of the big players that you saw step up when those injuries did occur, and you needed some crucial minutes from some guys that you didn't really ask it from down the stretch?
Well, when we started the season, our hope was to have a kid like Michael Gordon be around. Michael ended up hurting his labrum playing football and had to have season-ending surgery. We had other injuries such as Cole Fulton, Bryce Behringer, another kid who played for Coach Grisdale last year, was going to play for us. But some of these guys that stepped up, you're talking guys like Luke Generalovich, Carson Maurer, Noah Huda, Michael Natoli, a senior that came back. He didn't play last year. He wanted to focus on football and baseball, but he really wanted to come out of senior year and play with his buddies, and he's been a huge contributor for us. But it's pretty much from top to bottom. It's our guys getting in every day, coming in, working hard, being coachable. And again, these guys are not only just basketball kids, but they're just multi-sport athletes. And when you get that and you get that competitive drive, it can really help in the long run, because experience matters. And to have even game-like experience, whether it be district championship games in soccer, because we've got quite a few soccer kids on our team, or playoff runs through football, putting them in that opportunity really helps. And it really carried us when we lost some of the other guys that we thought were going to be around.
Coach, we can't not talk about Ross Dedo's performance in this district semifinal game. I mean, 37 points. And that's not the first time he's kind of put on a show this year. His game at South Range was particularly fun to watch, but he's been doing it all season. Talk about what it's been like coaching him, and what he's done so well this year, and what he did so well on Wednesday night.
Well, I think this year, one thing Ross came into and figured out sort of my style compared to Coach Grisdale's is he's going to have a lot more freedom. And some of that freedom you're starting to see on the basketball court, where he goes up against Streetsboro, puts up 30, goes up against a great Chardon team and puts up 37. We know that he can score the basketball from all three aspects. But the one thing that's really impressed me with Ross this year is his rebounding. He's actually leading our team in rebounding. He and Christian are battling their tails off. Jack Fulton, Michael Natoli, they're all doing well rebounding. But for Ross, who's a guard, and sometimes wants to get out in transition, he's also figured out, especially in the Chardon game, second half, you look at, he had 15 rebounds in that Chardon game. And sometimes that gets overlooked just because of his scoring prowess. But Ross's just overall maturity and growth has been huge for us. But that goes not only for Ross, that goes for each and every one of our players. Their growth and maturity over the course of the season has been instrumental to the run that we've been able to make.
You mentioned the freedom that he had too under your style system. I just wanted to go into that a little bit, because obviously Coach Grisdale, historic coach for the program, did a great job. You were under him for a little bit, and I think that helps too in the transition process. But talking about that transition process too, what are some other things that you kind of found yourself not changing the wheel or reinventing what Coach Grisdale said culture-wise, but what things did you find yourself tweaking and is now under Coach Fender's system?
Well, I think some of the tweaking, and it's not a whole heck of a lot, like I talked to you about the first time, we sat down, was I don't want to change the bones of the program. He did a great job, and he, just understood where kids needed to be. He understood where he wanted to get kids shots from. And for me, necessarily, sometimes I just want them to have the freedom to go make plays. We don't necessarily have a lot of just basketball guys right now. We have a lot of athletes, and I want to try and put them in the best opportunity to go score, or to be aggressive, and giving them that freedom, letting them know that, hey, it's okay to be aggressive, attack the hoop, mistakes are going to happen, and just having that kind of sense of relief from them, I think the pressures changed a little bit. Again, there's certain times where I want to set play, or I want to set defense, or there's something we need to make sure we take care of and get done. But to give them that freedom to more or less just go play basketball is what I'm trying to reinstill in those guys.
Coach, before we let you go, I mean, obviously this Poland community has been behind you all year. They show up better than a lot of communities do in the area. Talk about how much it's going to mean to your guys and your program to see the Poland faithful in the crowds for this game and having their back.
Well, the Poland community has been great. First off, having graduated from there, having played in front of so many people that I get the opportunity to come back and coach in front of now, you just try and show them the hard work that these boys have put in. Win or lose, I couldn't be more proud of the group of kids that we have this year, of how they've played, and of the product of basketball that we've put out there. But none of this is, for me. It's all for the kids, and that community support that we get is unwavered. And, it's something that not many programs in this area can say they have. And we are lucky enough to be one of those programs that have a great community, to have great support from both the school system as well as the community. And that means a lot to us.
After being under Coach Grisdale and then stepping into this head coaching role in this year too, talking about that, was there anything that not that you weren't prepared for that, but that you were maybe a little bit surprised by when you stepped into this role? And what's the biggest thing you think you've learned about yourself as a coach now, having this first full head coaching year at Poland under your belt?
Well, for me, the biggest thing is just the adversity through injuries, and just seeing how deep we actually are. We've got kids from the freshman level all the way up that are performing, and I think the future is bright for Poland basketball. Some of the things I learned about myself with coaching is just it's a different game. When I was at Springfield, it's the Division III, Division IV level, and now you're moving up and playing in the Division I and II level, and it's the physicality, it's the being ready to expect a game night in and night out, and the consistency of basketball that's being played, that we go and face every night.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and helping us preview this district championship game with Cheyney. And we can't wish you the more luck than we're doing. But
well, I appreciate all your support.
Good luck, and we hope to talk to you again real soon, maybe about some regional basketball.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens on Saturday night at 4:00. But thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Should be a fun one, Coach. Look forward to it.
Thank you. Have a good one.